Sellers will front the cost of repairs and even give you cash advances with no interest, so you walk away with top dollar. Buyers, we negotiate the best deals, and our specialized team knows the new home market inside and out. And if you need speed, we'll even buy distressed homes for cash in 24 hours. No gimmicks, just solutions built to help you move decisively. Don't get caught reacting. Be the smart one. Call the real estate guys today before the market moves without you. Call 702-310-6683. That's 702-310-MOVE. Place Realty, West of the 886.
Talk to Aaron Taylor,
the real estate guy.
Howdy Davidson here from BetMoneyHoney.com. Have you ever felt like the odd man out at a friend's house watching a game? After years in the sports betting industry,
Hey, how we doing? I like that little countdown thing. Are we good? We got Maxx Crosby. We got Maxx Crosby coming up. Oh, put on Maxx Crosby live right now. Get on YouTube. Let's go.
Now. A lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at their place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT, as we are rolling today. Look at you. If you're watching on YouTube, you get a chance to see me put my headset on. How about that, Bobby? This is like if I'm a pilot, I didn't have my headset on today. We got Maxx Crosby joining us momentarily. How about that? I just interviewed Pete Carroll, and I got to the studio on time. We were going to stay there, but Pete Carroll was kind enough to join me about 50 minutes ago at headquarters, and there was no traffic, and I got here, and I'm here with Bobby in studio. So we're ready to roll today. What a monster show as I pivot and move. Let me stand up here in studio. If you're watching on YouTube, JT the Brick YT as we open up the show. And we are rolling today because it's Chargers. From here on out, it's the Chargers. And you know I don't like the Chargers. I don't like anything about the Chargers other than my friend of the past who's no longer with us, Junior Seau, one of the greatest players of all time. And, you know, there's not many Charger fans, but they're feeling cocky now. Oh, they're feeling good now. These Charger fans think like this is coming. Raider fans, you know, this organization, the Raiders have won 3 Super Bowls. It should have been about 6. They've played in 5. They've played in the biggest games, the greatest game. The Holy Roller came at the expense of the Chargers. But the Chargers had some success in the Rivers-Tomlinson era, but they didn't go on to win a Super Bowl. And it's a good rivalry, no doubt. This is a good rivalry, and it gets chippy this time of year. So here's what we're doing. The rest of the week, we're on to the Chargers. I need to know from everybody who gets into the show, how to the Raider Nation, how do we beat the Chargers? As I've said, it's got a little bit of steam. It's picking up. This is the most concerned I've been about the Chargers in 25 years. This right now. Never been concerned about them, even when they were beating us. Even when Rivers split with us, seemed like they split a lot, even though he's got the most wins of any player in the history against the Raiders. No individual player has beaten the Raiders more than Phillip Rivers. But I never worried about that game. We had Derek Carr. We had Rich Gannon. You know, go back. I was never worried, even if Jason Campbell was playing or if it was Carson Palmer. I never worried about the Chargers. I respected them, but I never worried about them. Now they look really good. And it's going to take a tremendous effort to beat them. And the effort's got to be there, and it'll be starting on my radio show because I do everything to beat the Chargers. Now, look, you want to split with the Chargers, you want to sweep Denver and the Chargers, you want to do all of this, go ahead and sound off like you got a pair. We have got to beat the Chargers at home on Monday Night Football. Okay, if this was week 7 at home, depending on the record, okay. We have beaten Drew Brees in home openers. We've beaten Lamar Jackson in openers. We got to win this game. Okay, it's not a guarantee. We have to win this game. It's an important game. You get out to 2-0, the Raiders are in first place. Fred Bolitnikoff calls me every day, and I call him every day. And Freddie's old school. He says, you know what's at stake? First place. That meant something to Fred Bolitnikoff. Week 1 and 2, when the Raiders used to open up on the road in Boston, at New England, and then go and stay there. They didn't come home. You know, back in the old days for the Raiders, they would go east and stay there. Ask Phil Villapiano what it was like. And Fred Bolitnikoff, where they'd go out there and they'd stay. And they had a gauntlet of teams. But the Raiders would win. They were better. They were a better team. They were the team of the decades. This is what's at stake. Monday Night Football, a platform that the Raiders owned for decades. The Raiders were the king of Monday Night Football. That means a lot. It does, because the past is part of our history. We're trying to win in the future. We're not going to get rid of the past. We owned Monday Night Football. At one point, it was like Madden or Stabler was 10-1. So one of the guys let me know what their record was. It was insane. And then we came on some tough times. But we've had big moments in Oakland. 6 years ago tonight was our last ever home opener in Oakland. It was a big night, and my Facebook memories came up, and I shared it on Facebook. And a lot of people in my pictures died. Joe Morgan, the legendary Hall of Fame second baseman. Morris Bradshaw is no longer with us. Jim Otto is no longer with us. Wow. I'm sitting there on the sidelines with my arms around him taking pictures. The past is part of our history. But we got to start a new history under Pete Carroll. So today, I drove out to Henderson and I sat down with Pete Carroll for 10 minutes. It is really cool for me. It's kind of unique. Sitting down with him, he is chill. There's no bang in the desk. There's no rah-rah. It's quiet. He talks quietly because I think he's so intense at practice. And in the games, he's running up and down, talking to refs and line judges. He sits down with me, and it is cool. It is calm. It is collected. So you'll hear that interview later on this week, because we're excited about that. We also filmed a lot of the TV show, Raiders Rundown, which airs Saturday night on ABC, hosted by me. And it's kind of a look back at the week, my interview with Pete Carroll, and some interviews, and it's really cool. So we're excited about that. And then the show I did yesterday, Monday. No, it was Monday. Yesterday was Tuesday. Monday, Eric Allen, as we did Raiders Roundtable. So when I get to Wednesday, and tonight I have a new platform. I'm doing a weekly podcast with Hall of Famer Rod Woodson called Lay in the Wood. And when I do that with my son produces it. I'm so proud of my sons, both of them. One who was here with me right out of college, great kid. And my other son, a little bit older, as he's in the world of NIL and sports agencies and cool stuff. And he's producing what I'm doing with Rod. And we do that tonight. And then I act like a kid in high school, Bobby, on Wednesday night. I feel like it's Friday night. I get to reward myself. But I'll hold on this week because we have Canelo, Bud Crawford, Saturday night at Allegiant Stadium. Very big night for two people in town here. Not Canelo and Crawford. Dana White and Mark Davis are putting on a super fight at Allegiant Stadium. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. Suites are sold out. Sold out, everybody. Good luck. This is going to be a big fight. And then we have Monday night football here. So that's what we get. We are waiting on Maxx, and Maxx is going to join us coming up here in a little bit. Maxx is always in meetings, but he told me that he is coming on today. And we're going to get him up here momentarily. I'm texting with the Raiders right now. And then we have Vinnie Bonsignore, Paul Gutierrez, and the great Levi Edwards. How about that for a radio show? So that's happening here, as you can watch live. Everyone's saying, what a nice shirt I have. Yes, this shirt, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitter, is part of the Raiders' brand new collection of 2025 button-down shirts, which you can get at Raider Image. I get them for free. They give me a little bag to start the year to do the preseason. So we're buttoned up today. And yes, Maxx says he's calling in 15 minutes. Perfect. Maxx is calling in 15 minutes. So we'll get Maxx up, and we'll have Paul G this hour, and we'll go from there. So the phone lines are ready to open up. Bobby opened them. They were locked. When the Rich Eisen show was on, they locked the phones around here. It's 702-365-9200. The key to the game, I'll give you that on Friday. But here's one of the keys to the game. Justin Herbert has the ability to tear up any team in football. I told you the greatest pass I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I saw Montana, Manning, Brady, Marino, Andrew Luck, you name them. I saw them live. Brett Favre, I was at the Oakland game. Remember the Favre game where he was throwing daisy cutters after his dad died into the end zone? The greatest pass I've ever seen in my life live was Justin Herbert at Allegiant Stadium. A 27-yard touchdown pass that looked like it was shot out of a bazooka. And I said, oh boy, this guy's good. Now, fortunately for Raider Nation, he loses a playoff game. He was terrible in the playoff, terrible in last year's playoff game to the Texans. I mean, he lost that game. But he is an elite player. And you know he's an elite player. But here's what I love. Just like Pete Carroll, Geno can beat anybody. You put Geno in a parking lot against Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and say, we're playing pickup football on asphalt. Geno breaks the huddle. Geno can win the game. We couldn't say that about Aiden O'Connell. Even though Aiden won in Kansas City, he didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. Gardner Minshew beat the Ravens in Baltimore. Last year, it was the greatest 12 minutes of Raider football all of 2024. So anybody can beat anybody in any game. But we finally have a guy now in Geno who can beat anybody and has beaten a lot of these quarterbacks. So I think when you look at the hierarchy, which I hate, or the top 10, which I'm not a big fan of, Geno is clearly behind Justin Herbert in regards to just being a quarterback in a category. But not far. Not far. Derek Carr in his prime with the Raiders. Derek Carr in his prime when he played Tom Brady and Peyton Manning or whoever, Derek Carr wasn't in that category. He wasn't far behind. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. So we had a puncher's chance. I don't have an update on Landon Roberts and Brock Bowers. I don't. Normally we don't get that on Tuesday or Wednesday. But we'll find out when the report comes out. There will be Raiders on the injury report. Oh, how glorious was it last week? How glorious to see that injury report. Crystal clean. Perfect. Nobody on it. Oh, my God, Bobby, print that and print the injury report last week and frame it. Man, you'd love to have that every week. It will not happen. You will lose players. That's why the practice squad is pretty important this year. So I think the Raiders have the intention to win this game. They have enough star players to match up with the Chargers. Do I think the Chargers have a better roster? Yes, right now they do. They have a better roster, but not by much. They have a better roster top to bottom, but not by much. The Niners have a better roster. Buffalo does. Baltimore does. But when it comes to other Philadelphia has a better roster than the Raiders. But then when you look at those other teams that could be playoff teams like Denver, the Chargers, the Buccaneers, Atlanta, whoever you have, Raiders, their roster matches up. And then our corners played pretty well. Pete Carroll told me that in our sit-down. He's very excited about that. And we have Pete. So with having Pete, we're in a pretty good spot. So I like that. I like what's happening, and I like the opportunity with Pete Carroll because he knows when he walks out in the pregame, Pete in the pregame chewing the gum, and he goes out there and there's Jim Harbaugh. He's not going to say this, but he's beaten Jim Harbaugh many times. He's beaten Andy Reid many times. He's beaten Mike Vrabel. Again, we're good. We got a coach who can handle all this, and he's great at adjustments, and he's great at prep. You know the first thing he did in this interview I did? He praised Bobby Romanski and the equipment and the locker room staff for having the team ready to play a wet game. Yeah, he said that's what Pete Carroll is. He wants to thank the team and the staff for having the team prepared to play. That was really cool. But then when I asked Pete Carroll about Justin Herbert, and he looked at me with his glasses on, it was like, he's really good. So he is really good. We can't let him come into the house and win. We can't let Herbert come into our building with a sea of black because we don't have to worry about 30, 40% of the other team in this one. We got to have him in there losing to us at Allegiant Stadium in year 6. This is it. Got to win this game. Is it a must win? No. No, but read between the lines. We got to win this game. First place is at stake. 2-0 can get us to 3-1, could get us to 5-2, can get us to 7-4. But you got to go 2-0. And if you don't go 2-0, you got to lick your wounds and then fly to D.C. to take on Jaden Daniels. Big game. So act like it. On the show, we're going to talk to the Black Hole. The Black Hole is going to black out Fremont Street. Raider Man called me, left me a voicemail. I appreciate that. Others are checking in saying we're coming. So what's cool is downtown Las Vegas, where I only go downtown to Barry's Steakhouse. My buddy Barry Daycake runs one of the best steakhouses in the world. I'll go down there with the wife to go there. But I'm going downtown more now because the Black Hole will invade it at the Golden Nugget. So if you're coming from out of town, just go to theblackhole.com, and they have all of their activations going there. And other people can have parties and do other things. But if you want to go big with the Raiders, you go down to the Black Hole on Fremont Street, and then you get to the game with M-Ride. M-Ride it. Go to mride.com, and they'll get you right from there in a luxury bus to the game. Good place to go downtown, man. Really is. So that's what we're talking about. The monologue brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. And you go to happy hour tonight. A lot of baseball happening, Bobby. My Yankees lost and collapsed last night. The Blue Jays won in a walk-off. Your Red Sox won. I mean, there was a lot going on. So we're waiting on Maxx Crosby. So I'm going to stick here for a little bit on Maxx Crosby, wait for him, and we'll get him up, and then we'll move back Paul Gutierrez for a few minutes, and we'll talk about that. Yes, No Raider says on the YouTube chat, Fremont Street is for real. Yeah, it is for real. That's why we are partnered with the Black Hole, because everybody's asking me, where do I go? Where do I go? Where's the party? Just go to theblackhole.com. It's all there. You can figure it out there. And the tailgating should be pretty good. I would think the tailgating on Monday Night Football is going to be really good. A lot of people ask me about tailgates. I tell them the same thing, right? It's a little bit different here in Vegas. I like a good tailgate. It'll never be Oakland. It'll never be Oakland because we have a jewel and people want to go inside to watch the pregame show at the Torch, where there's a beautiful bar, and they want to walk around our beautiful stadium and see it. But I think the tailgating is picking up, and it's going to be great. UNLV football's 3-0. That's going well. So I think Vegas is ready, and we got the fight, and the fight's going to be big. All right, Gangster Raider can start us off before Maxx Crosby. Get us going. I think we're ready for your somewhat of a prediction today, if you got it.
Yeah. What's up, JT?
What's happening?
Can y'all hear me?
We got you loud and clear.
Like I said, this isn't a must-win game, but it isn't a must-win, but it's a can't-lose game. And I'm here in LA. They worried about us. They scared to death of us because I didn't realize that Geno was a backup for the Chargers a few years ago, and they said they was thinking about signing him again in 2020, but they went another direction. And they said every time since then he's been on a revenge against them. So they worried about Geno. They worried about Mad Max. And I also worried about Jeanty because you know how LaDainian Thompson used to have his games against us. They worried about us getting our revenge of his games with Jeanty because Jeanty's I think he's gonna have the ability to show off this game, have his coming out game against us. But the key to the game is defensive line. We have to make Justin Herbert uncomfortable. He had too much time against Kansas City. They didn't put enough pressure. We have to pressure him, preferably hit him, like Al Davis say, in the first few plays of the game, hit him or get him to the ground or just make it uncomfortable for him. And we need Jamal Adams to spy him because he's deceptively mobile. We need Jamal Adams to spy him. Anytime he try to take off and run, Jamal Adams needs to make that a bad business decision on his behalf. But like I said, I think we can beat him. I know we can beat him because we got the coach to beat him, and a lot of people don't know this. It's Coach P's birthday, and he has a winning record against Harbaugh. He got a winning record against Harbaugh. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really worried about it. But I'm telling you, they scared to death of us out there in LA. I'm watching all the little pregame shows and all the little predictions. They're scared to death for the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? So I think they got to come to the Black House. We're going to be blacked out, and we're going to make it their worst nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Well, my prediction is 34-17. I told you. We're going to beat them 34-17, and it's going to be Jeanty and Tyree Wilson's coming out party. Mark my words. Keep it gangster, y'all.
Yeah.
It's not a must win, but it's a can't lose game. First place in the division. I'm gone. Keep it gangster.
Yeah, you know, that score seems a little bit aggressive to me. Yeah. To think you're going to blow out the Chargers. I would like Geno to take a victory knee formation with about a minute to go because the Raiders are up 3 or up 2 or up 6. And the Raiders give it to Ashton Jeanty, and he runs the clock out, and the Chargers are out of timeouts. Remember, the Chargers don't have Boy Blunder anymore. Remember their former coach, Brandon Staley, the guy who liked to go for it on 4th down on his own 30. They got Jim Harbaugh now. And Amarian Hampton is their running back, and he had a game kind of like Ashton. He didn't score a touchdown, didn't get over 50 yards. Ashton got a touchdown, didn't get over 40 yards on the ground. So you got 2 rookie running backs who are beasts. These guys are really good. Really, if we didn't get Ashton Jeanty, if someone would have took him before us, this guy Hampton, who's with the Chargers, I would have been fine getting him. He's a good player. But Keenan Allen, over the years against us, he misses games. Him and Mike Williams miss games. But Keenan Allen caught a touchdown, and he had 10 targets. And then they got Lad McConkey, the little lad, who reminds me of Hunter Renfrow. Good player. We got to guard him. But I feel a little bit better about the fact that our young corners can play. I do. I feel a little bit better that our young corners can play. Because if they had a bad game, I'd be really nervous about this. If they didn't have a good game, I would be really nervous about that. But I know this guy's going to have a big game. My friend and one of the best people we know, the great Maxx Crosby, joins us on Raider Nation Radio. How fired up are you to come back from New England with that W?
Hey, I appreciate you for having me on, JT. It's always an honor, brother. But, man, it was a great start to the year. You know, going on the road against a really tough team with a great head coach and coordinators and finding a way to get a victory. You know, I'm proud of all the guys. We stayed together and stayed, composed for the, duration of the whole game. And we went out there and did what we planned on doing. So it's definitely a good start, but we definitely got work to do. Yeah, I mentioned the young corners played well, Caillou and Stokes on one side. And Coach Carroll told us that, Max. He kind of teed us up saying, I'm going to go with young players. He did it at USC. He did it in Seattle. I was a little bit concerned about it. I thought he might go shopping with John Spytek and get a veteran corner to come in. But what's it like when you have the coach knowing that the young players and the rookies and guys are going to be ready to play because he's going to play them? Yeah, that's a testament to Coach Carroll and his, approach on developing and coaching up the guys. He believes in the team. He believes in the players, and it's all about trust at the end of the day, and that's what he preaches, and he's really about it. You know what I mean? He doesn't just say it. He believes in the guys, and it doesn't matter what age you are. We're all in the NFL. You know what I mean? There's no red shirts in college or in the NFL, so you got to be ready to play. And if you're on our roster, the best man's going to play. And so, it's a testament to him and the whole coaching staff. It's been awesome, and seeing the young guys step up like Caillou, like you said. A lot of guys that we have, that are younger players, stepping into bigger roles and playing a good job. Like I said, it's one game. We got a lot of work to do, but I definitely like where we're at right now. You put up stats, but you're not a stat guy. You're not looking at your locker and posting stats. So when you're in a game like that and they're trash talking and they're triple teaming you, double teaming you, and you're getting close. I mean, I've never seen you take a playoff because you've never taken a playoff. Is that frustrating in real time? Because like you did in this game, you made a big play late that really changed the game. What's that like for you mentally with the adjustments coming out at halftime, knowing you're going to get to Drake May and be a game wrecker? Yeah, that's honestly something I really emphasized this offseason was just my composure. You can't just go out there and say, yeah, I'm going to be under control. Don't worry, I'm good. You got to train it just like everything else. You know what I mean? It's not just physical. The NFL and playing at this level is a lot about the mental. And for me, having incredible people in my corner, from Rick Slade, with the strength staff, the guy that I work with every single day, we communicate and talk about those things and train that. Having Alex Guerrero part of the staff now, me and him have gotten really close. Having a guy like Tim Grover in my corner, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, some of the best that you can literally think of when it comes to competition and being, locked in and not ever getting too high and too low. So those are the type of people I communicate with on the regular. And those are the guys I want to keep around me because that's where I'm trying to go. And so for me, just being able to stay focused even when it's hard, when I'm getting double team and triple team, that's what I expect. And I know that I've earned the right to get that type of attention, but it might not happen in the first quarter. It might not happen in the third. But I know at some point I'm going to get my shot, and I got to capitalize. And that's what my teammates depend on me to do. And that's what I got to do every time I go out there. So, yeah, unfortunately, I got one of those sacks taken away. I'm not sure how they didn't call that a fumble, but that's just a part of the game. And, I want to be able to close for the guys. And that's what, they expect me to do because we do it every day in practice. So just staying sharp, staying locked in, not getting too high, too low, not letting my emotions get to me, just trusting the process and knowing that when they slip up or when, it matters most, I got to be at my best. And I know I'm trained to do that. So that's really my mindset going into every week.
We're wrapping it up with Maxx Crosby. Tell me about Geno Smith's leadership.
Yeah, Geno, he's exactly what is advertised. He's a great leader. He's 34, 35 years old now. And you would never know that, just being around the guy every day. His energy is contagious. He brings guys along. He knows how to communicate with his O-line and the offense, but also just communicate with guys across the team. He's here to win. I know he has a lot to prove. He always has that chip on his shoulder, and that's what, being a Raider is. So I can definitely relate to him, and that's why we, have a great relationship because he's all about the right stuff. And so, yeah, he's been awesome, ever since he's been in the building. And like I said, he's exactly what, has been advertised.
Ashton Jeanty also, he got that touchdown. I thought it was very important. Two things. Let's get him on the scoreboard and don't fumble in the wet weather on the road. Ball security was key. And we know he's going to have breakout years, but he got a win and a touchdown in his first start for the Raiders.
No question. Yeah, Ashton is another guy. He obviously is a top 10 pick. He's going to get a lot of, criticism and also a lot of love at the same time. And that's what comes with the territory. So regardless of the stats, it doesn't matter. That guy helps us in so many different ways. If you watch the film, if you just paid attention to his pass pro during that game, it's unbelievable. He helped out our offense in so many different ways. And obviously, I don't even need to say this, but when the ball's in his hand, the guy is unbelievable. And he's, he is who he is. He's incredibly hard to tackle. He's got a low center of gravity, great contact balance, and he's going to help us win a lot of games. Like, he's going to have his big 150, 2 touchdown games, but if he has to get 60 yards, hard nose in the rain, and, find a way and still score a touchdown, that's going to work too. So at the end of the day, we got to do what's required on a weekly basis for us to give us a chance to win. And that's what, being out on that field and being a part of, what we're trying to build is all about. So, yeah, we're all in it together, and we all got each other's back. So Ashton's been awesome, man, since the day he got in.
A lot of people think of you nationally with your rivalry of Mahomes. He's chirping at you, you're chirping at him, you're giving him a little shove at the end of the play. He's chirping at the refs. What about Herbert? Herbert's a hell of a player, and we need you to get to him and Malcolm a hand up. Hey, Tyree, hands up, knock it down. If this guy gets loose, he's got a cannon. What's your individual rivalry been like with Justin Herbert?
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people talk about me and Mahomes, but me and Herbert have been playing against each other for a long time as well. And, when you look at the numbers, it's Mahomes and him that I've, gotten after the most. And he's just, he's a guy that I respect a ton. He's obviously got all the intangibles, all the ability in the world. But what a lot of people don't see is, the competitor. He's super he's super calm, and you don't really hear him say much in the press or anything like that. But when he's on the field, he's super competitive, and he's a hell of a player. So those are the type of guys and matchups you want to be at your best against. It's a division rival. We know what comes with that. We know what is at stake. So we respect him, and we have to go out there and do what we do, and that's wreck the game and dominate and disrupt him. And so that's going to be on us to be at our best, come Monday night.
Last one. I don't want to see other fans in our building anymore. You're the face of this franchise. This has got to stop. Now, look, we know we've been friends a while. You know, you got buddies from all over the country and cousins and friends, and some people from the other team want to come and see us. They want to come to Vegas. Canelo's fighting. You're a big UFC guy. They book in this weekend, and they want to come see entertainment. Enough of this crap. We need the place blacked out. What is your message to the fans of the Silver and Black about turning this into more of a home field advantage on game day and game night at Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah, we need every single fan from across the country, and I know they're all across the country because you see it on the road. We went to the Patriots game, and it seemed like almost half the stadium was Raider fans. So when it comes to Allegiant Stadium, that's the Raider stadium, and we need it all silver and black. And I know the fans are going to come out and support. We need everybody there. Do not sell your tickets to the other team. We want everybody silver and black, going crazy and at their absolute peak performance, just like we need to be on Monday night. So yes, it's all about winning, and that's what we got to do to continue bringing the fans in. And I know they're going to come and support. So yeah, we definitely expect them to be, in full force come Monday night.
I'll see you Monday night. Have a great game. All the best.
You're the best, brother. Talk to you soon.
You got it. Maxx Crosby. Max is amazing. And the next time we talk to him, we'll talk about his foundation, which I've had the chance to MC 2 years in a row. It's game week. We're going to have Max for about 10 or 15 minutes. Very kind that he would do that. There's a lot more to talk about with him in our next conversation. You hear what he just said at the end? Enough of this. Enough of this. It's Maxx Crosby telling you that the Raider fans globally need to get in our building. Get in our building and flip this thing. It feels like it's flipping in a good direction. So great, the great Maxx Crosby. Really appreciate that he would come on. Fantastic that he's excited for this game, Justin Herbert, and everything that's around it. That was brought to you by the Fountain Blue, our newest partner. The Fountain Blue has the Hall of Excellence from Jim and Fran Gray, and obviously everything that Tom Brady has with his personal collection. Fountain Blue is our proud partner now. Head on out there, go to the second floor, check out everything at the Hall of Excellence, and I can promise you, more of Maxx Crosby's memorabilia will be in that years from now. Fountain Blue, proud partner of the show. That's the way to go. Paul Gutierrez is up next, plus your phone call, 702-365-9200. That's why you watch the show on YouTube and you listen, because we deliver that because we're their partner. And we got Maxx Crosby, and I talked to Pete Carroll today one-on-one. We got a big week going. You got to take out the Chargers. Got to take them out, period, at all cost. Good. Woo! I still get excited. I still get excited. I'm 59 years old, and I get excited to talk to a guy in his 20s. Right? That's what it's about, man. The Condor, Mad Max.
The Morning Tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
This is Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m. The home of Raider Nation.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to me.
Not for sports, but Charlie Kirk, who is a commentator and leans to the right, got shot. I'm just seeing this. The attack on Charlie Kirk is, wow. Say a prayer for Charlie Kirk. I'm seeing that all over. I wasn't aware of that. I just was in the car. Wow. The violence in this country needs to stop. The violence in this country needs to stop, especially the political violence. Man, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. This guy's got a wife and a bunch of young kids. Just terrible. Just awful. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's just horrendous. God. Yeah. Yeah, people who said this? J.D. Vance, the vice president, say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, a genuine good guy and a young father. Gavin Newsom, the attack on Charlie Kirk is disgusting, vile, and reprehensible. In the United States of America, we must reject political violence. Wow. That's let me get the TV on and see what I missed. Wow. That's heavy, Bobby. It's crazy. This is this the one right here? Oh. Hang on, buddy. Hey, Paul, it's Bob, who's by JT. How you doing? Good, I'll get up at JT in just a minute, okay?
All work, no play makes for one boring ass week. Kick boredom to the curb with ice cold beer, cocktails, and the best tavern food in town. Voted best happy hour in Las Vegas, there is no better place to be than PT's Taverns. Join us for half-off happy hour, 5 to 7 p.m. and 12 to 2 a.m. daily for 50% off all, and we mean all drinks, even the good shit. With over 70 locations, there is always a PT's Tavern near you. Visit ptstaverns.com to find your neighborhood tavern today.
Plumbers, HVAC techs, contractors, and DIYers. McFadden Industrial Hardware has the tools, parts, and supplies to power your next project. Open early and stocked with everything you need. Stop by South Decatur near Russell. McFadden Industrial Hardware. Fast, easy, and built for the pros.
Zip Zap Auto has expanded into one of the largest independent auto repair shops in the valley. With 23 bays, over 12,000 square feet, Zip Zap is your...
All right, let's get back to sports. Let's get back to sports.
Engine and transmission rebuild.
Sports. I gave you some breaking news if you weren't aware of it. Sports. Paul Gutierrez. We will add him to the stage. How do you guys like the next stage of the feed will be putting these guests on live. But, you know, I like it this way. You see a picture of him, you hear it.
Or Android device from anywhere in Nevada.
That went out. I'm just saying, we'll get going.
Brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
But it was chasing him down on the far sideline. It wasn't like your prototypical sack. And again, the Patriots go fast on 2nd and 6. Pressure. This time he's hit as he throws deep over the middle. Picked off. Polamo falling down at the 29. Picks it off. Drake May was hit as he threw it. It was late. It was overshot his receiver. And Polamo has his 2nd career interception.
Jason Horowitz on the call. Need more interceptions. Thanks to Maxx Crosby. He was great. And this will be exceptional, too. Brought to you by Modelo, Paul Gutierrez, Raiders.com, and Raiders Insider. And, Paul, you were back there. We talked since you've been back, but overall that was a win the Raiders needed. They had to be 1-0 to feel right going into this Charger game. A very good opponent coming in after that win against Kansas City.
Oh, huge. There's no better way really to start a season than with a win and the way they did it. And if you think about it, I mean, we've both watched this team for decades now. And really, when's the last time you can recall them making such good adjustments that happen? Not just making adjustments, but good adjustments, because offensively they seem kind of stuck in the mud after starting so hot. And then Geno Smith got on track and took off. He didn't blink. And then defensively, they helped the offense get going as well with that interception. And that was, to me, just the epitome of coverage helping pass rush helping the coverage. And you see all these things come to fruition. And for it to happen in week 1 of a season under a new regime, under a new head coach, I don't think you could really ask for anything better than that.
What was your most impressive thing that you wanted to see that maybe was under the radar for our listeners and viewers here that had to happen and you got out of New England saying it did?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We talked a little bit about it after the game, and I don't think you can ever talk about the quarterback enough. And, you know, is it really under the radar just to say that you wanted to see Geno Smith ball out? No, but what I wanted to see was how he was going to react to adversity. And the way they started, they drove down the field, boom, efficient, scored a touchdown in less than 3 minutes. Second drive, they're driving down the field, and then he kind of, you know, feels himself maybe a little too much, tries to force the pass, interception, and then they respond with 3 straight 3-and-outs. So that's the situation I wanted to see. How is he going to react? And as I wrote on Raiders.com and as I said on Raiders Roundtable, he doesn't blink. He didn't blink at all. And he has this very quiet confidence about himself that every now and again, you'll see something kind of poke out. And he's like, oh, okay, that's how he got to where he is. That's why he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. And that to me was the thing that I wanted to see the most, was not him to play well, but to see how he was going to react to adversity. And again, flying colors, as Pete Carroll said after the game, and as he said on Monday, that wasn't a statement game for him. That's just who Geno is. And that right then and there kind of answers those questions too.
So, Paul, we're always straight shooting, you and I. And when we look at the offensive line, it wasn't good enough. 4 sacks, and I didn't see them opening up a lot of holes, but I think they got better with the game on the line and some of the pass protection, especially on the deep balls, 20-yard receptions by 5 different receivers. That's a positive that the pocket held up. But Pete Carroll made a very interesting point. I think Levi asked a question about this. They're only going to get more experience playing games from here on out, other than that Niner joint workout. And we didn't know what the starting 5 was going to be until late into the preseason and camp. This is a work in progress. How do you see their growth going forward?
Yeah, I thought there was some growth actually in that game. And you're right. I mean, the first half, it was almost like, okay, with all those sacks that were coming and things that were coming, I talked to Colton Miller after the game, and he said, you can plan for things all you want. In the season opener especially, you really don't know what you're going to get. But he even admitted and he acknowledged that they got a lot more pressure than they even imagined they would. So they made those adjustments. He said, yeah, there's a lot of things that we can still clean up. There's more holes that we can open up for our running backs. But the fact that they saw that and recognized that and adjusted. And like I said, right here at the top of this spot, I can't recall the last time I recall seeing them make good adjustments at halftime, let alone any adjustments at all to have some positive effects. So from the offensive line, I mean, you and I have talked about this time and time again. Games are won and lost in the trenches. If they don't give Geno Smith enough time to find Trey Tucker downfield on the deep ball, doesn't matter. If they don't give him enough time to find Brock Bowers streaking across the middle so he could take off and run 20 miles an hour, doesn't matter. If they don't open any holes for Ashton Jeanty to provide him to get some yards, and I know that he would probably like to have a bigger game than what he had, but if there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to run. It all kind of comes down to that offensive line. At least now you know what that rotation is. You know what the starting lineup is. You just kind of go from there.
Paul, we've covered a lot of Charger games going back to Rivers, and San Diego was my favorite place to go see the Raiders on the road. It was always a Raider home game. Pretty good weather at times. Tailgating was exceptional. It's changed, and we know the Chargers are paying rent to Stan Kroenke. They're trying to build the fan base, and they got a very good team. I've been telling the audience all week, this is the most concerned I've been about the Chargers in 25 years because they got an adult in the room in Harbaugh. They've had some pretty bad coaches after Marty Schottenheimer and Norv, and they're loaded in a couple of positions. When you got Alt, I know Slater's hurt. You got Mack, Derwin James, Herbert. I think their new young Hampton, the running back, is going to be really good. When you look at all of this and what they have going on, this is a team that could do damage, not only against the Raiders in the AFC West, but the entire league. But they flamed out in the playoffs here, and they got a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, they're a team that, I remember growing up when they had Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow and Charlie Joyner and John Jefferson and Wes Chandler. They were the San Diego Chargers because they had no D. That was always the joke. And the Raiders always played them well, and when it mattered, the Raiders would beat them, like in that 1980 AFC title game to go to Super Bowl 15. But this is a very, very good Charger team, and coming into its own, you're just wondering when is the injury bug going to bite them, because it seemingly always does. But early in the season, it's a great matchup for the Raiders, just kind of as a litmus test, a barometer to see exactly where they are. This Charger team may actually be the best one since 2006. That team probably should have won the Super Bowl. And were it not for the defensive back who had the interception and didn't go down and fumbled it right back to the Patriots, maybe they do. But it's weird. The Charger fan base is unique to me because you got to have respect for people that have been Charger fans for a long time, because there's no history there. There's no Super Bowls or things like that. And they always make fun of the Raiders. Well, it's been 40 years since you won a Super Bowl. Yeah, but at least there's three trophies there, right? So with the Chargers and the Raiders, two different fan bases, many different homes over the years, there's something there. Even the connection between Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh. And a lot of Raider fans kind of maybe don't remember or forget that Jim Harbaugh's coaching career actually started with the Raiders.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Carroll about it in my one-on-one, and he didn't go really with it. He just said what he said about Mike Vrabel. He really respects him. And Pete Carroll's record on primetime is insane and really good, and going back east and all of that. I am convinced, and we've seen this matchup on Monday Night Football for years, but I think it was a must, even though the Raiders lost 10 in a row and 4 wins. They put this on television, not because of Herbert and Geno Smith, but almost exclusively for Jim Harbaugh and Pete Carroll. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, and I'm working on something for Raiders.com later in the week also to look at the rivalry between them. And a little teaser here, and not to scoop myself, but they faced off 12 times total in college and in the NFL. They are 6-6 total against each other. So that right there makes you wonder, what's your deal? Because that's where it all kind of started when Stanford started beating USC back in the day. And the other thing that's kind of getting lost in the mix here is Monday, that's Pete Carroll's birthday. He's already the quote unquote oldest coach in NFL history. All right, it's his birthday on Monday night, so hopefully the Raiders can celebrate it the proper way.
Last one, Paul. We know what's at stake. It's first place in the AFC West, and that'll go back and forth. But the ability to go 2-0 and to get it at home in front of Raider Nation. The Chargers don't travel well out here, but there'll be some fans. I don't predict games, and I don't say they're must win. But this would be really important as a building block for Pete Carroll and everybody else around here. I think they're a favorite on the road, the Chargers, for a reason. What do you think will be the key in the fourth quarter for the Raiders to be in the game and have the ability to close it out late?
The key there is going to be who is going up against Joe Alt from that side of the field. I know Max usually is on the other side of him, but who can get by Joe Alt, the left tackle for the Chargers, because he did not, according to Pro Football Focus, he did not surrender a single pressure. Beyond that, just the cool, calm, collective nature of Geno Smith. And that's the one thing, again, like we talked earlier, the game didn't get big for him. He just stayed the course and he didn't blink. So those are the two keys for me. Geno Smith staying calm, and who is going to break through on Joe Alt.
Thank you, Paul. We'll see you on Monday night, if not before. Thank you.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, Paul Gutierrez. Find all his work at Raiders.com. Really enjoyed that. That's a nice start to the show. Maxx Crosby into Paul Gutierrez. We'll have Vinnie Bonsignore at 1:30. He's going to jump on, and Levi Edwards sometime near the top of the hour. As you know, we're no nonsense this week. No nonsense. I need your game plan if you're going to call in. If you're going to call me, I need to know how the Raiders win the game. What do they need to do? I don't know. I don't need a week where JT, love the show, we're going to win, I'm out. No, none of that. Let's go. Tell me what has to happen in this game. Your friendly neighborhood Raider man who's coming to Las Vegas for the home opener. How are you?
Oh, you know it, JT. Getting this thing together, man. I'm going to be on that midnight train to Vegas, baby. Woo, woo. It's getting ready to get down, man. And I know it's Pete Carroll's birthday. It's an even more pinnacle moment for me. I mean, it's like, well, I don't know. I don't want to make this selfish. I mean, for the team. I guess I'm kind of alluding to what you were just saying in that, whether or not it's what would they call a must-win game. I don't really worry about the onus of that, because that term can be broadcast in a lot of different ways. But I think this is, by terminology, it is a must-win game. It's for division. It's 2-0. It's time to grow out of where we've been. There's only one way to do that. As they say, these dudes ain't no champs, but to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. And everybody keeps saying they're the better team than we are. But they're the better team than we are because they've been beating our ass. We turn around and beat their ass, then what happens? Then we the better team than they are. And we got just as many names on our team as on our roster as they have on theirs, but they're a little bit top-heavy. We got to still prove ours, so it's not like I'm spitting in the face of the wind here. But what I do want to say is we got an opportunity to step up. So I kind of want to go into what you mean by what we got to do to go and win this game. And I'm going to go to key number one, and that's left tackle, because I never go against Colton Miller. But I want to see that man turn on a way that he never really turned on for us before, because Colton is a really calm, cool, collective guy, but I want to see him get pissed off. I mean, I'm hoping he can play under control when he's angry. It's not about playing angry, but I'm talking about with something to prove, with that chip on your shoulder where you are. Everybody talking about Joe Alt coming into your house. We're about to establish a damn culture here. And there's some brilliant left tackle that's come in and out of this organization. And he's got a culture to uphold. So I'm really curious to see what Colton Miller does. I'm really curious to see what the talent of a Justin Herbert, how we handle the middle of our field, because we're notoriously bad back there. And our linebackers are heat-seeking missiles. So, we don't necessarily want to go into the whole misdirection thing because we don't have a LaDainian Tomlinson threatening us right now. But Amarian Hampton is a big boy, and he is a talented back, but he's a rookie. And it's time to go put him on his ass and let him know, welcome to the NFL, kid. You don't belong here. You're not welcome. We'll see you in the fall. We'll see you in the winter. But the thing about what I really, really want to see is how we cover in our linebacker course. Because we got bangers. We got to be able to cover these damn in-lane passes, these slants, these middle ends, these curls. We got to be able to, handle these sits because we didn't look good in the zone, and I saw us tighten it up. So then that kind of makes me believe that what we need to do most and foremost is put our hands on these damn flimsy receivers. They're not stacked at the receivers core anymore. And we got to take advantage of that. Keenan Allen going to get his respect, but he also going to get punched in the mouth. I got the young kid that they got from last year, Quentin Johnston. He got loose a couple of times in that first game, but he's not sneaking up on us. We watch them zones. We put hands on them dudes at the line of scrimmage and make them earn them damn things off the block, and they're going to have to beat us. But I think with Geno at the helm, this game, like Gangsta Raiders say, I think it's going to get out of hand. I don't know if we're going to get over 30. I'm hoping we do, but I'm predicting early 27-19. I'm putting mine on it. And I want to make sure you know that I plan on being there. I hit my bus Friday night. Lord willing, be there Saturday afternoon. It'd be wonderful to get in touch with you, hook up. Because, man, I'm getting ready to get down for Mark Jones when it comes Saturday night, baby. We about to turn up for Black Hole. Shout out to the family out there. Much love, much respect. Raider Nation, unite, man. So let's turn it up.
You got it.
Happy birthday in advance, Coach Pete Carroll. And one love, Maxx Crosby. You're a great leader, man. I see you when I'm looking at you.
Take care. Raider Man coming in for the game. The Black Hole, the Blackout down on Fremont Street. I'll be there hopefully late. I'm taking my sons to the Canelo fight. We're going to the fight, father-son's night, so I'm excited about that. That's where I'll be on Saturday. I'm excited. Never missed a Canelo fight in Vegas, so looking forward to doing that, and we'll get to that. Good time today. Man, wow, we are rolling through this. Vinnie Bonsignore, Levi Edwards, next hour. Stick around for that. We want to thank our great friends at Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Thursday night, I like being at the bar with J.O.D. at One Steak. I love the pools. I love the restaurants. I love the rooms. I love what Cliff Atkinson is doing to take Virgin Hotels to the next level.
Football fans, tune in to FCS Nation.
All right. Wow. Charlie Kirk was shot from a campus building 200 yards away. Wow. A full sniper assassination attempt. Crazy. Thank you, 401 Raider, for the $5 donation. I do not accept donations, but my sons are working on the site. I'm not here to say you have to donate at all, but when it pops up, it pops up. 401 Raider, thank you for that. We appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it was a sniper. Charlie Kirk was shot from a campus building 200 yards away from a sniper. I guess he was shot in the neck. I don't have all the details here. I don't like reporting this stuff. Just crazy. Wherever you stand politically, right, left, independent, liberal, conservative, just insane, man, that we have people who get that violent when it comes to politics. You don't have to agree with anybody's politics, but the violence is really crazy.
Serving USDA prime steaks, quality seafood, and world-famous Florida stone crab claws, defined by a standard of hospitality for over a century. Inside the forums at Caesars, Joe's offers guests an experience that is perfect for lunch, after-work cocktails, social gatherings.
How about Oracle today, man? Jeez, Oracle was up $100 a share today. Wow, $100. No room for violence, Bill. Right. Who was that Charger fan, Big D, that would kind of infiltrate the chat? We had 280 people in here from Maxx Crosby. We need to get that to 1,000. We need 1,000 people on this YouTube feed every day. 1,000. Now, this is a radio show that's simulcast. Maybe if I do a separate show, the numbers will grow. All right, Bobby.
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
One call holding Nash in Houston. I'm going to play Geno and Thornton.
Okay. Okay.
That's about it.
Caesar, what's happening?
My name is Dustin. I'm the head designer for Cody James.
Well, I got to get some live reads in, man. I got to get some live reads in with all these.
Yeah, I'm assuming you have all that stuff.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yep.
This is the more call we got.
I'm going to try to give you a 30 here for Andrew Paul. Hey, you guys follow me on the gram, the Instagram? Bobby, you on Instagram?
Barely.
Barely?
Yeah, I have an account. I just haven't posted anything.
Oh, today's the day we don't need the Raiders talking, actually.
No.
Which is good.
Every Wednesday we get the coach, but probably like Geno or something. Thursday is offensive and defensive. And
Yep.
we get Carroll. All right.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. Visit Tito'sVodka.com.
See if they put this in the air. Geno Smith is going to throw. He rolls to his right. He pumps. He heaves. Wet ball for Thornton. 1-for-1. Comes back. Slides and makes the grab at the Patriots' 39-yard line. Oh, my goodness. The wet football was like a dying duck. But he picks up 36 into Patriots territory to the rookie.
Turn this up. I saw the Who play. Saw a clip of the Who. Roger Daltrey's 80 years old. And I've seen Pete Townsend many times. We're brought to you by the 2025 fully electric Volvo EX30. It's a luxury SUV. If you don't want to lease it, you could buy it. Get 1.99% APR financing for qualified buyers through Volvo Financial Services. Visit Finley Volvo Cars, Las Vegas today on Rainbow in the 215. Ask for Mike, and please try to test drive one of their vehicles. It's incredible. This electric Volvo EX30, the luxury SUV, twin motor performance generating 422 max horsepower. Give Volvo a shot here on Raider Nation Radio. Nash is out in Houston. How are you, Nash?
JT, I'm terrific. Again, 1,000 miles away, but again, I just so sense such a different energy starting out the season than I felt in a long time. And I think one of the reasons, again, I think some of the things, is the coaching. And to me, it's the wisdom of our coaches. And I define wisdom as knowledge applied rightly. And we've had guys that were smart before. I think McDaniels is a good example, but never was able to really apply that, where you just see the master just be able to manage people, motivate people, and just be able to orchestrate that. And I even think that Pete is a better Pete Carroll with that year off to just really reflect on how we want to change things and just improve on what he's already doing. So I'm just really excited about that. I'm predicting a win, and here's, again, my plan to it. I think just like last week, I think the adjustments we made, we'll see more of that. We'll see more of that 12 personnel with Michael Mayer and with Brock Bowers. And I think actually we're going to see the same from the Chargers too. I think they're going to run it. But I think that we have an opportunity to run the ball better this week, and that's going to be one of my keys. Key number one is that Ashton Jeanty's got to get 80 yards. I'm not going to say he's got to get 100, but he's got to get over 80 yards, run between the guards, and make them really respect the run.
Okay.
And that's going to allow us to play, out of that 12 personnel and have big games from our tight ends. 2, we got to win the turnover battle. That's simple, stupid, but that we got to do that. Last week, we had an opportunity to get that fumble, and we didn't get it. For whatever reason, we can't pick a ball off the ground, and we need to do it this week. We need to win the turnover battle. And then also –
Got it, Nash. I got to go. I'm up against it. Radio, top of the hour. It's the only time we got to get out. Bobby's looking at me. They're looking at me also at the M Resort. They're our proud partner. The Raiders Tavern and Grill. Have a meal at the Raiders Tavern and Grill all weekend heading into Monday Night Football. M Resort, proud partner of the show. All right. Yeah, I'm going to text him now. Yeah.
Brought to you by Paul Paddle Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Gambler's bonus hits again. On August 2nd, Candace hit
Let's get Levi Edwards up here.
four-of-a-kind bingo card for over $16,000. Candace hit big, and so can you. With Gambler's
Yeah, there was also a school shooting in Colorado, too. But, yeah, man, what happened to Charlie Kirk as I'm watching it is just ridiculous, man. Wow. It's too graphic to even look at. So, can't even imagine looking, man. Today is not a good day in America. Today is not a good day in America.
Hey, Chuck, people seem to need Dollar Loan Center more than ever these days.
Look, banks stopped lending money years ago to average folks who just need $1,000 or so for a little while to get through their situation. They say that half the country.
I'll be right back, everybody. Give me about a minute.
People end up in a pinch. You always know where you stand at the Dollar Loan Center. We're very transparent, lend more, charge less, give you more time to pay back, and treat you like family. If you like your family, that is.
You're spot on, Chuck. DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes, and you can get your cash in person at one of our 70 locations, on our website, don'tbebroke.com, or even over the phone with one of our helpful, real staff members. You're gonna love Dollar Loan Center.
The Audi Henderson Lake Las Vegas Classic is set for September 26th and 27th, Nevada's largest golf and culinary event. Put your foursome together as the event features a golf tournament on Friday at Reflection Bay, followed the next night by a culinary feast overlooking Lake Las Vegas. The feast features up to 15 chefs, including Capital Grill, Coda Grill, STK, Double Helix, El Dorado, and more. Your ticket also includes cocktails, whiskey and wine tastings, dancing to an award-winning band, and more. Tickets are available at LakeLasVegasClassic.com. All proceeds benefit the Southern Nevada Junior Golf Association.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support.
Hacksaw. We got Scott Kaplan tomorrow, 1:45.
Call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333.
All right, what are we talking about in the chat today? Let's get back to sports. Let me hit the chat.
Sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account, and you can earn up to.
This is YouTube, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to get us off of. I want to take us off Twitter right now. Yes, I'm going to remove us from Twitter, and I'm just going to keep us on YouTube, where we have 142 people, which is a nice group. Nice group.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925. Don't miss the Rich Eisen Show following the morning tailgate.
Levi needs to move back to 120. So maybe throw me some sound when you get a chance.
Welcome back to the JT
Take your time. Get me started. Don't worry.
Wally's Pizzeria, home of the famous New York style.
Well, that'll work. That'll work.
Oven pizza.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
Obviously, it means a lot to me being a part of the Silver and Black. The history. I've said it a million times. I feel like I was meant to be a Raider. I love being here.
Your Silver and Black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's amazing, opportunity, great community here, and great fan base. So I'm expecting a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of great times.
It's going to be all about competition, and there's going to be no easy games in our division. And now here's JT the Brick.
We're back for hour number 2. Vinnie Bonsignore and Levi Edwards will join us coming up here in a bit. So stick around for that as we get going. And if you got anything to say, I'm open now for the next 20 minutes, and then we're going to be closed for phone calls. So fight for the radio show. Get in here, 702-365-9200. I spoke to Pete Carroll today, which was really cool. Really enjoyed that. I mean, how lucky am I to do that? Pete Carroll, his birthday will be on Monday. We had a nice sit-down conversation. It'll be everywhere. So what they're going to do is they're going to take that interview when I do it, and then the Raiders are going to put it out. And they're going to put it out on Raiders.com. Then I'm going to put it out on the radio, and then it's going to air on a whole bunch of other platforms. So earlier today, when I went in there, they reminded me that I host a TV show on Saturday nights called Raiders Rundown. And I like that show a lot because it comes on after college football on ABC. So when you watch Chris Fowler and Kurt Herbstreit and it's Oklahoma or it's a big game, as soon as the game ends on ABC, they go to the show. And it's basically a bunch of packages and pieces, my interview with the coach. And it's really nice. And I host it, and we're able to do that. It's really cool. And then Monday I host the TV show with Eric Allen, Raiders Roundtable. And that's with Lincoln Kennedy. And then the pre- and post-game show, the pregame starts at the Torch. And Q will have the pre coming in. He does an amazing job. Ryan Hogue, Vinny jumps in on that. And then I'll do the post-game show with Lincoln Kennedy. Only thing I got to do this weekend, Bobby, is I got my Mad Dog Sunday night show, or I'd have a 3-day weekend, which I really want to have a 3-day weekend. So I'm going to have off Friday night, Saturday night. People say, JT, why don't you do radio on Friday night? Are you nuts? You got a wife, man. I live in Vegas. If I lived in Des Moines, Iowa, I'd do a show on Friday night. There's nothing to do. We live in Vegas, and then we got the fight on Saturday night, which I'm excited about there. So, a couple of things that we're taking away from today. I believe the Chargers are for real more than they've been for real in a while. You all agree with me on that, right? As much as you don't like the Chargers, you know how good they are. You do. And I'd like you to analyze what it's going to take to beat the Chargers. So we got a lot of smart Raider fans, smarter than me. What do you think has to happen here? I'll go first. Ashton's got to run it for more than 38 yards. We got to run the ball. We got to run it for about 130 yards. I think we can against the Chargers. Chargers are good. Raiders have to run the ball right at them. Secondly, Geno's got to work off play action. I thought he did a good job in New England at that. Brock Bowers got banged up in the game. I have no idea how his knee is. None. We'll find out on the injury report. We know that overall, the game, guys got banged up. Landon Roberts got hurt. We hope he's okay. But Eichenberg played well. When you look at what this team could do, there are players that can play and jump in. We don't have a lot of depth at corner. We don't. If a corner goes down, a young corner is going to have to come in. I thought the safety play was pretty good. Isaiah Palomal had an interception. We definitely saw Jeremy Chin get beat on a touchdown, but the coverage was really good. That's when you got to tip your cap to the other team and say, that's good coverage. That's okay. People are going to score touchdowns. That's going to be good coverage. And the coaching factor is going to be big. Pete Carroll holding on to his timeouts, right? Pete Carroll, knowing when to call timeout. And then the Pete Carroll adjustments that were really, really good in that game. And I think everybody in Raider Nation thinks that Chip Kelly called a good game in general. The offensive line needs some work. How about Booker? We got him from Philadelphia. Brian Baldinger, Baldy's Breakdown, he did a nice feature on him, and he had a big game. And we just spoke to Maxx Crosby. Max joined us, and that was really good. So if you want to get in from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'd like the score of the game, and I'd like to know why you believe the Raiders can win. Why do you think they can win? You just can't throw it up against the wall and say we're going to win, because we need to put the game plan in. And for the Chargers, I'm very concerned about Herbert. If Herbert has a clean pocket, he can pick us apart. The ball gets to the receivers on a dime, really fast, very aggressive. I've never seen a guy do that much. I think his arm talent, Bobby, is better than Joe Burrow, is up there with everybody there. I've been impressed with Herbert because I've seen him play live. And it's changed me because I said, man, I haven't seen that before. But the Raiders have beaten them in the past, and for whatever reason, their coaches make mistakes in games. They turn it over. Someone's always hurt. You know, it used to be Joey Bosa would be hurt and wouldn't play in the game, or Keenan Allen wouldn't play, or Derwin James, the great safety. So, you know, this is a game where the Raiders have to play a great game if they're going to win. They didn't play a great game in New England. They played very well. They're going to have to play better here.
Well, of course, they played okay, but not fantastic in New England.
Yeah.
Look, I get the thing about Herbert. I know you saw him play. You've seen best quarterback you've seen live in front of you forever.
Yes.
But I've been listening to a few people this week, and one thing that keeps coming to me all the time is, who is he going to throw to? He doesn't have a whole lot of a receiver core.
Yes.
He really doesn't. And I mean, it's nice to have an arm, but if you don't have anybody to throw to, you're not getting too far. And their running game is not exactly what I would call Buffalo Bills style.
Yeah, they have a rookie running back who comes in who hasn't proven himself yet, which is going to be big. And their wide receivers did a nice job in week one. Their wide receivers, what scared me about that game, not scared me, concerned me about that game, was the fact that the Chargers receivers were open. Because remember, Kansas City in that game lost Xavier Worthy on the first few plays. So they didn't have much. I looked at this earlier today. Kansas City receiving. Hollywood Brown had 99 yards, 16 targets for Hollywood Brown. We got Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. Juju Smith-Schuster had,
still alive?
Yeah, he had 5 receptions. Travis Kelce only had 2 receptions, but 1 was a touchdown. But here's the receiving for the Los Angeles Chargers. Quentin Johnson, number 1. And where's number 1? Big guy. He had 5 receptions for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then Ladd McConkey had 6 receptions, 74 yards. He's like a Hunter Renfrow. And then the veteran Keenan Allen had 10 targets, 7 receptions for 68 yards. So they got players. They can go out there and play.
They've got players, but you know what? What you're running down here, these guys are averaging only like about 5 yards a catch.
Yeah, they are, but they were open, and that's what concerns me. Conklin had a 33-yard reception. Quentin Johnson had a 33-yard reception. Ladd McConkey had a 23-yard reception. Their guys were getting open, and our middle of the field, the Raiders' middle of the field, has been open for quite some time.
Well, that's the problem right there.
Yeah, it has been the problem.
If the secondary steps up, they should take care of the Chargers, in my opinion.
But the Isaiah Palomalu interception, I thought was big overall because he made a play. I think against Justin Herbert, you got to go make a play on the ball. And if we can get to the Kuntz sack, 67 here, that was a really big play because Malcolm Kuntz has been playing at a level in the preseason where, the way people describe it is that, he's still fighting through the injury mentally. No, he wasn't fighting through that anymore mentally when he made this play.
Big split out wide right. May gets the ball again, moving clock. He's hit from behind by Kuntz, and the ball's on the turf. Raiders jump on top of it. They say they've got it. We wait for the signal. Malcolm Kuntz has the strip sack, but the Patriots are back on top of the football.
Yeah, that was big. So when you see that, you would think Max would get there, or maybe Tyree. No, Malcolm Kuntz, he's one of our best players, and he's healthy. So we need to see more of that. You can watch us on YouTube at JT the Brick, YT. It's right there on YouTube, up and running. We've been on Twitter. Levi Edwards will join us in about 5 minutes or so. Vinnie Bonsignore will join us at the bottom of the hour. So you're going to have really big insiders today in the building. Paul Gutierrez, Vinnie Bonsignore, and Levi Edwards all coming in who are going to get us going. Today is not a good day in America. I hate to give you breaking news, but it's my job. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot by a sniper in Utah on a campus as he was doing what he does, speaking on a campus, and there was a school shooting in Denver. 2 students shot in Denver. So we're seeing this now. There's chaos all over cable news, political news there, but my job to tell you if you're in the car and you didn't see this here, we'll get back to sports as we always do. On a sports front, when it comes to football, we got some good games coming up here this weekend. I often talk, and I'm going to do a podcast next week with Tom Looney, my podcast partner. We do it every year about the 0-2 teams. If you go 0-2 in the NFL, you're pretty much dead. If you go 0-2, you're in big trouble because there's no coming back from 0-2. But what happened recently is we added another game. So when you add another game, and we have 17 games now instead of 16, 0-2 wasn't what it used to be when there were 16 games. Just do the math. So the teams that got to worry about going 0-2, because Thursday night, we have a good game Thursday night, the Commanders at the Packers. Sterling Sharp is getting his Hall of Fame ring. We're going to have a game later on this year where Eric Allen gets his Hall of Fame ring. There's only 4 guys who got into the Hall of Fame, so Sterling's going to get his Thursday night on national television. The Jaguars and the Bengals are both 1-0. They play in Cincinnati. Giants are at the Cowboys. One team's going to go 0-2, most likely the Giants. If the Giants lose at the Cowboys, the Cowboys are a heavy favorite, 5.5-point favorite. It's their home opener. The Giants look like garbage. They were garbage last year, and the Cowboys look really good in their loss at Philadelphia. CeeDee Lamb dropped the game-winning, what I thought would have been a catch that would have won the game. The Bears and the Lions are both 0-1. Lions, it's their home opener. Ben Johnson comes in as the head coach of the Bears. So with that, I would think that the Lions would win that game. If the Lions win, they're a 5.5-point favorite. The Bears would be 0-2. That's why the Bears' loss was so bad. The Bears' loss was so bad because they were winning through 3 quarters, and that happened. So the pressure is going to be on Ben Johnson. The Titans are hosting the Rams. The Rams are 1-0. This is the Titans' home opener. Titans looked pretty good against Denver, didn't they? They were okay. If Denver would have lost that game, it would have crashed the entire Circa Survivor contest. It was going to go up in flames like it did last year. The Patriots are playing the Dolphins. Both teams are 0-1. That game always fascinates me, Bobby. That was the game where Tom Brady would struggle at times because of the humidity in September in Miami. They put the opposing team in the sun. There's humidity. And I don't care if you're the Patriots with Brady, if you're great, to play that game. And the Raiders have had to do it too. That's a trap game because of the heat in Miami. I don't have a weather report, but that'll be an interesting game. The Dolphins look terrible. One of the teams are going to come out of that game 0-2, and they're not going to have a lot to look forward to.
That's very likely going to be the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because the Patriots traditionally lose at home at Miami.
You're right.
Every year.
That's a tough game for them. You nailed it. Niners are at the Saints. The Saints, Spencer Rattler didn't look bad. The Niners have a lot of injuries, man. The Niners have a lot of injuries. The line on that game is 3.5. The Niners are a road favorite. Bills are playing the Jets. Bills didn't look good at all against Baltimore defensively. And then they had that miracle comeback. The Jets look really good against Pittsburgh until they choked. The Bills are a 6.5-point favorite. I think they win, but the Jets cover. Great game between the Seahawks and the Steelers. It'll be the home opener for Aaron Rodgers. The Yinzers in Pittsburgh. Seahawks should have beat the 49ers. Nick Bosa made a play at the end of the game. Darnold fumbled it. That would have been it. Seahawks, if they don't win, go to 0-2. The Browns are at the Ravens. Joe Flacco returns to where he won the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens will win that game. They're a heavy favorite. They're 11.5-point favorite, the Ravens at home. I think the Browns look good against Cincinnati. You might want to sprinkle a little bit on the Browns to lose the game but cover the spread. How about this one? Broncos at the Colts. Ooh. Daniel Jones had one of the best performances in week 1. Daniel Jones. You know the lowest rated quarterback, lowest rated in week 1? 31. Bo Nix. I would love to see the Colts win this game. Remember, the Raiders play the Colts this year. Okay, that's an important game to keep an eye on. Panthers are at the Cardinals. Man, do the Panthers stink. The Cardinals win. Remember, they're sneaky good. I was in the tunnel with Rich Gannon. He was doing TV. I did the radio play-by-play. He said, this is a sneaky good team. Rich told me that on the Cardinals. Eagles are playing the Chiefs. Jalen Carter isn't suspended. He spit in the face or on the jersey of Dak Prescott, got kicked out of the game. And then the league came and said, well, that's good enough. That counts like a suspension. No, it doesn't.
Really?
If the Eagles were not playing a Super Bowl rematch against Kansas City, Jalen Hurts would have been suspended. If the Eagles were playing Carolina, I guarantee you Jalen Hurts would have been suspended. The Chiefs are 0-1. If the Eagles, I think the Eagles are better than the Chiefs. That's a big game. Oh, that's a big game if the Eagles can win for us. Falcons-Vikings. The Vikings are 1-0 at home. J.J. McCarthy looked really good. Really good. And then on Monday night, there's 2 Monday night games with a later one, Chargers at Raiders. The early game is Buccaneers-Texans. Anybody tell me why we get screwed over with the doubleheader? Anybody know that? Anybody in TV listening? Like, why don't we get our own Monday night game? Why do we have to have 2?
Tell me about it.
You know, last week there was 1 Monday night game, and next week there's 1 Monday night game. Why do we get sandwiched in with the 2? I'm upset about that. Anybody want to answer that one? Let's get the phones going. It's a week of a game, man. We're 1-0. This feels like I'm doing radio in the summer. 702-365-9200. Yeah, Levi Edwards. Let's get him up here and get going here. Chargers at the Raiders. I got my pregame report, which is great. The work I get from AWS Amazon, man. It's like a book. If you watch it on YouTube, look at this. Look how thick these notes are for the game. It's great. I got every bleeping note, but normally I don't look a lot at stats until after the 4th game because these are new coaches, new teams, blah, blah, blah. The stats are from last year. So, I don't start looking at stats until teams start playing and we see what they can do. So I'm excited. I think the Raiders can win this game. You notice I didn't say I think the Raiders will win the game. No, I'm not here to pick wins. I think the Raiders can win this game. And if they do, they're playing with house money as they go into Washington. They're playing with house money as they go into Washington, and I'm looking forward to that. 2-0 on Monday Night Football in a short week. And, man, the Raiders got a short week going there because we know the Commanders are going to have some extra time off too. I saw Levi Edwards today, and we're going to have him on right now. And, Levi, you're putting out a lot of content. What was your big takeaway when the Raiders got back into the building on how they won that game in New England?
Really, when it comes down to it, it was all revolving around the second half defense. They really stepped up, and they did a lot of things that the Patriots were actually doing in the first half to get after them. All the stunts, all the different blitzes, really a lot of getting pressure on the quarterback. A lot of those things that the Patriots defense was doing to Geno to affect them, Patrick Graham dialed all that up against Drake May, and it only resulted in 3 points allowed in the second half, and that's what won the game right there. So I really do like what I saw from Patrick Graham, Pete Carroll in that unit. Really great second half performance from the defense. I love what I saw from Caillou Blue Kelly and Stokes at all. When you looked at the film, Pete left him out there on the island. I talked about it with Coach today. He told us he was going to do this, Levi. He said, I'm going to play young guys, and I didn't know enough about it to really totally buy in. But I buy in now. I know these young guys are going to get burned from time to time. But, man, I love the coverage. I like the aggressive hand play and what they were able to do in New England. Well, yeah, shout out Caillou Blue Kelly, who I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he might have been Lil Brick's teammate at Bishop Gorman, if that's correct.
He was, yeah.
So, yeah, he's a guy that I've actually looked at closely for a few years, even coming out of Stanford. I was there at the Senior Bowl when he was practicing and had one of the better practices of any cornerback there. So I've known his name for a while, and him being a Vegas native. And he's a guy who already has familiarity with Pete Carroll because they were with the Seahawks together. He was on that practice squad for a little bit before he was released. And so now he's just evolved into a better player. And those other defenses he was on, by the way, Ravens, Seahawks, those are some tough defenses to crack. And so he came over. He's more of a development player now. Pete Carroll has faith in him, and it showed. They targeted him a lot, and it showed. He had 8 targets come his way. And in press coverage, he only allowed 1 catch in press coverage, and which is really impressive. That's exactly what Pete Carroll wants out of his corners. Is someone who can press up and be physical. And Caillou did a great job of that. And experience doesn't matter to Pete. He doesn't care about that. He cares about production. What are you able to do for this team right now? Doesn't care if you're a rookie, 10-year vet. He does not care. It's all about production, and it showed.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. It was very, very unique to see this game plan jump in. I like halftime adjustments, Levi. You're young, and you've been doing this a while now, and you're getting to see this. Get him into the locker room with Pete Carroll and his coaches historically, going back to USC and Seattle, now with the Raiders. You almost want to get to halftime. If you can get one more score, and if the Raiders, as you know, deferred, and Pete Carroll's going back out and saying, here, we're doing everything right. What'd you notice about the patience of the game plan on offense after the success early in the first quarter when they struggled in the second quarter and what you saw in the second half?
It all starts with the head of the snake, Geno Smith. He didn't lose composure. He kept it, and he made sure that the whole team was like, hey, it doesn't matter what the score is right now. We're going to go in the second half, and we're going to stick to our plan, and we're going to do what we have to do to come out of this with a win. And there's a lot of teams, even a Raiders team in 2023, a Raiders team for 2024, if they were in those circumstances heading into halftime, coming out, they would have folded. And you can see Geno Smith as the leader of this team come out better than he played in the first half. He came out firing. He did what he had to do to move the chains. He was able to get the team in the red zone and in field goal situations to add more points. Ashton Jeanty with his first touchdown. He put the team in position to go out there and win the game. And that's what comes with getting a veteran quarterback like Geno Smith, a guy who's familiar with Pete Carroll, a guy that you know is going to be your steady hand. Because, there's certainly – you have to go out and win the game. But I think Geno didn't do anything to lose the game. And that's really important when you have a veteran quarterback like that. So I think when it comes down to it, Geno – obviously we talk about the defense, but Geno just as much of a deciding factor in how the Raiders were able to win.
Levi Edwards is here. Brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, One Love. Levi, you'll knock out some Raising Cane's. I'm going to take you to Raising Cane's. You do
Raising Cane's.
There you go. That's all I need to know. Levi Edwards. All right, well, let's spend the rest of our few minutes here talking about the Chargers. As I told you in the hallway today, I'm concerned about the Chargers more than I've ever been concerned about the Chargers. I think they're balanced. They have a good coach. They want to run it, and Herbert can tear everybody apart. How do the Raiders beat them?
Really, they're going to have to be just as balanced, and that's going to be a tough task at hand because I think what you just said, JT, the Chargers team that I saw last Friday against the Chiefs in Brazil, that's probably one of the better Chargers teams that I've seen, in my time, in my 5 seasons, now 6 seasons covering this team. That's probably the best performance I've seen from them. They couldn't get the run going, and obviously the Raiders couldn't get the run going either, but that's going to be something that they're going to want to improve. So I think the ground game is going to be really important in terms of trying to beat them, especially because the Chargers' run defense was maybe like the one portion that they struggled at, if there was any portion of the game that they struggled at. So they're going to have to improve their run game, but also make sure that they continue to limit the Chargers' run game. Their linebackers, they like to – really their whole secondary and their linebackers, they ran to the ball really well against the Chiefs, and that's something that concerns me. So really they're going to have to do the best they can to get their guys the ball in open space. Talking about the Raiders, you have to get your ball to Brock Bowers, Ashton Jeanty, Jacoby Myers. You have to be able to get them the ball in space to make plays because those guys know how to run to the football really well. And that was the biggest observation that I took from watching the Chargers defense last Friday. So that's going to be huge. If they can do that, if they can run the ball on them, I think those are going to be the 2 things that are going to help in terms of coming out with some victories.
Max, we talked to Max earlier in the show. He doesn't want to avoid anybody. He's one of the best players in the league. But is it smart to line him up opposite of Joe Alt? They're both warriors. They're both great players. Kuntz can handle it. And let Tyree have some Joe Alt time there. If he can't get there, put his hands up and knock it down. Joe Alt's a hell of a player there, and I just don't want to see anybody get neutralized going up against him.
I think it's going to be a type of situation where I think Maxx is going to be kind of all over the line. And
Yes.
we saw that Sunday where they had him on both sides. They had him even inside. The sack where Tyree was able to get to Drake May, that was kind of like a stunt inside where Maxx was actually on the on the interior, kind of like right near the tackle, kind of like near the 5 technique. So that was very interesting to see. So I really do think that, yes, Joe Alt is a very talented player. And I think that I don't necessarily say that anybody's going to get neutralized by Joe Alt, but it's probably in the Raiders' best interest to make sure that you're giving him as many different looks as possible, whether that is a Tyree or a Malcolm or a Maxx. So I think that they're going to move around a lot on that defensive line and try a lot of different combinations to get after him, especially considering that Rashawn Slater's out for the season. So you have your backup tackle on the other side that you're going to try to exploit.
Thank you, Levi. Good seeing you. I know it's a big weekend out here. I'll catch you at the game, if not before.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, JT.
You
Always
got
great
it.
talking to you.
It's always my pleasure. Come on, Levi, I feel like I've kind of helped him early in his career just by getting him reps. He's a made man now. He's a made man. Levi Edwards is very good. I watch him work. I watch him grind. Notice the insiders on this show, they grind. They're not like, hey, can I have a credential and go sit and eat food at the game? No, these are people who I trust putting on the radio because they'll help you get the information you deserve. Vinnie Bonsignore next.
It's the morning tailgate.
Raiders legend and an NFL MVP, Rich Gannon.
Ashton Jeanty, I think the more opportunities he gets better as the game goes on. I think he's the type of player that needs to find his rhythm. My concern coming out of preseason, guys, was the offensive line. And that group has to play better. You go out and draft a running back that's more than capable, but if you can't open up holes, it really doesn't matter.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. All right, we got Vinny coming up next. Stick around. I'm going to keep us here for Vinny.
On Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
This is JT for the Black Hole, home of football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com.
Joe's Seafood, prime steak and stone crab. The legendary seafood restaurant of Miami Beach is right on the strip to bring you a true dining destination. Serving USDA prime steaks, quality seafood, and world-famous Florida stone crab claws defined by a standard of hospitality for over a century. Inside the forums at Caesars, Joe's offers guests an experience that is perfect for lunch, after-work cocktails, social gatherings, to late-night dining. From private, semi-private dining for both intimate and large party gatherings.
Raider Nation, it's JT. I partnered with Charles Woodson and his Woodson Whiskey. It's the official bourbon whiskey of the Black Hole and the Las Vegas Raiders. If it wasn't your game day whiskey, it is now. Raise a bottle at your next tailgate and toast to the silver and black. The limited edition Black Hole bottles now available at WoodsonWhiskey.com. Really Use the promo code JT the Brick at checkout for 15% off. I'm not going to report anything until it's confirmed. The official whiskey of Raider Nation. Please celebrate responsibly.
Sign up today for a new William Hill Nevada mobile sports account, and you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first qualifying wager. The William Hill Nevada mobile sports app allows you to bet on the go from any iPhone, iPad, or Android device from anywhere in Nevada. Sign up today, and you will never miss another bet. With the largest wagering menu, the mobile sports app features same-game parlays, early cash out, and live in-play wagering on all major sports.
All right, let's see what we got here. We'll keep it here for Vinny. If you have any questions for Vinny. Yeah, I saw the video of him getting shot, and it was really rough to look at.
Confronting the person at fault, documenting the damage, and capturing the scene can seem overwhelming in the moment, especially when you've been hurt. Prepare for that moment now by saving 766-1400 under accident in your phone. Do it for your loved ones, too. Remember, 766-1400. Call Battleborn Injury Lawyers from
If
the
you
scene,
are a
and we will
liberal or
walk you through
conservative
exactly what to do. At
commentator,
Battleborn, your battle is our fight.
in this society we live in now, you would be reckless if you have a family to go out in public and do a mass speech in front of people. It's freaking insane what just happened today. I'm just saying, you gotta think of your safety in the environment we live in. It's just nuts.
Even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to sports.
Truck you.
Bobby tomorrow, Lee Sterling.
Dude, you should check out Truck You CDL Training.
Vince or Kevin and Wasted Talent.
Weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even help with payment programs. Check them out. Truck, the letter U, LV.com. Truck You.
It's kickoff time, and PT's Taverns is your ultimate football headquarters. Catch every play, score serious prizes, and sip like a champ, because when you play with your True Rewards card, you get a scratch card, and everyone's a winner. We're talking drinks, grub, and Las Vegas football tickets. Oh, and happy hour? Twice daily. Half off all drinks, even the good shit. Yeah, we said it. PT's Taverns, where football lives, drinks flow, and every scratch card wins. Visit ptstaverns.com to find a tavern today.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Two tight ends, ball to the left. The snap. Geno's going to throw. He's rolling out to his left, looking downfield across his body. Michael Mayer at the 31 and brought down at the 30. What a dangerous, gutsy throw. Geno's rolling to his left, all the way across to the right hash mark, and they pick up the first down on 4th and 1.
Love the call, and I love having Vinnie Bonsignore on, as he's kind enough to join us in this spot. And we're lucky to have him every Wednesday. So, Vinny, after going there, traveling, coming back, doing your radio shows, writing the columns, what were you most excited about that you wanted to see proven in front of you when you watched the game and after the game?
Yeah, the operation, the entire operation, I thought the defense played really good, especially in that second half, kind of setting the tone and turning the tide with Isaiah Polamalu's interception. I felt like the cornerbacks, that was a big concern for a lot of people. They held up really well. I thought the pass rush was good enough. It needs to be better this week against the Chargers. I wasn't real surprised with the offense. Obviously, the running game needs to be better, but the explosiveness that we saw, that was prevalent day in and day out at training camp, how good Geno Smith is, how accurate he is, kind of the gunslinger mentality that he has. I thought that throw to Dante Thornton, to kind of close the game out, facing the 3rd and 20. A lot of quarterbacks that have played here recently would have settled for a screen pass or a dump down, give a little bit more room to A.J. Cole, but that's not who Geno Smith is, and he had the confidence to take a shot downfield and close the game out with the way he plays aggressively. So a lot of things affirmed what we were seeing in training camp, especially offensively and quite frankly defensively too. But they played a good game. It was a good positive step. They need to play a much better game on Monday night against the Chargers.
Yeah, what has to improve the most, in your opinion, here? As you talk to Pete Carroll, I talked to him today, mentioned the offensive line. There were 4 sacks. There were penalties. I didn't see a lot of holes open up from time to time. I did. But I gave New England a lot of credit for their pass rush and especially the way they wanted to stop the running game of Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah, the Patriots were very aggressive in their blitz packages and the pressures that they brought. I don't think that the Raiders were necessarily expecting that, just because teams don't normally blitz as much as the Patriots did, but that's what they did, and it took the Raiders' offensive line a little while to kind of get that figured out and get the communication, established, and I think that's where I would start too. The offensive line just needs to do a better job. A lot of it is communication, not talent. Getting on the same page in terms of, as Pete Carroll was talking about, when to double team, the attacking, and then the communication. Jordan Meredith makes the calls on the offensive line, but then it's everybody's responsibility throughout the offensive line to absorb that information and those calls and then do the right thing. I feel like maybe there were a few mistakes in that regard. So offensive line, Ashton Jeanty being a little bit more patient. Obviously, as Pete Carroll said, and it was pretty obvious watching him, he was fired up, Ashton Jeanty was. You would expect that in somebody's first game. Maybe just settle down just a little bit in game 2 and let things, happen in front of him and be a little bit more patient. I think it's something that he's going to grow from. I think the offensive line is going to grow from that experience as well.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of work done other than practice. Pete mentioned the joint workout with the Niners. You get a chance to see, and that's when he made his final decision or was leaning towards the offensive line overall. It just seems to be go time. If someone gets nicked up, we both know the depth chart, but I'm interested to see what they do against the Chargers. Khalil Mack has been a problem. He's been a problem for Colton Miller and wherever they line him up. And he knows it, and we know that. How does that get rectified?
Yeah, and I think, everyone remembers, like last year and those early season meetings or an early season meeting last year. And part of the problem for Colton was that he just wasn't, he had missed so much football going into last year. There was a little bit of rust. Once he shook that rust off, he was back to being Colton Miller. So I would expect that he's in a much better position to deal with the Khalil Mack. It's going to take a team effort. He's somebody, Khalil, that, you have to account for and have a plan for, and it doesn't take just one player. It takes running backs, it takes linebackers, sometimes it takes an extra tackle. So we'll see what the plan is. I know, Pete Carroll and the offensive staff, they know who they're going to have to focus in on and who they're going to have to stop. And I'm sure a lot of their blocking schemes are going to be centered around Khalil Mack.
If you're watching on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, you see the photo of the lean Vinnie Bonsignore, the trim, the traveling Vinnie Bonsignore there. We welcome him to our show. I think this is a game, and we talk on the radio once a week, that I'm really concerned because I've grown to respect this group of Chargers almost more so than any other group. And I covered closely Junior Seau, LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, and Phillip Rivers. The issue with that team, when the Raiders would lose to them or split, is they had a lot of holes. Junior was a great player. If you didn't stop LT, the game was going to be over. Rivers was good, but Carr could go back and forth with Rivers or whoever was the quarterback. But now I don't see a lot of holes. I see Derwin James. I see Mack. I see linebackers who can go side to side. I respect their offensive line more. They got Hampton, the running back. And their wide receivers, they still don't have a Jamar Chase. They don't have a Justin Jefferson. And that's what gives Raider Nation hope, that there isn't a Devontae in his prime or someone that should be able to come into a Legion and put up 180 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. I might be wrong, but I think the Raiders can contain these guys if they play smart.
Yeah, and, I think you also have to understand that this could end up being a shootout. There's a lot of good offensive firepower, starting with Justin Herbert over on the other side. So, I know the defense is going to have a good plan, and, this is an opponent that they know really well. Although it is kind of a new, Raider defense in a lot of ways, maybe for better than worse in that regard. I was really impressed watching the film back of Sunday's game, how intelligently and how well prepared the defense was in a lot of key areas. I think it was a really great first step for the defense to build on. But you're right. I mean, the Chargers are the Chargers, and they've got a lot of talent. They've got a great coach, and they've got a great quarterback, and it's going to be a massive challenge for the Raiders. I think the key this year, as opposed to maybe some recent years, is I feel like this offense can produce against really any caliber of defense. There's a lot of good players on this Raiders offense, and it doesn't start and end with Geno Smith, but it pretty much does start with him. And I think he showed on Sunday what he's capable of doing. He's been, as Pete Carroll said, he's been doing this for a while now. Shame on us. I'll include myself in that for not really recognizing that over the last 3 years. But I've certainly become a believer watching him going all the way back to OTAs and training camp and preseason, and now that first game. This is a really good quarterback that can keep a team in games.
Finally, you're a journalist that also has a radio show and columns, and you do social media. We're a fan-based radio station and network here. For the fans' perspective, this is not a fan base from LA that's going to overrun Raider Nation and get 30,000 fans in there. But they do travel. They do have fans from San Diego, not as much in LA. They'll be here. But this should be the perfect example of what a regular season Monday night game should look for Raider Nation. It should be blacked out. Everybody should be in black. It should be loud. Everybody should be standing on third down with Herbert there. I'm really looking for this, I don't want to say fan base because I know how good they are, but this stadium experience at Allegiant Stadium to change now, because Antonio Pierce was a rah-rah guy and he wanted it too. But Pete Carroll's already addressing that with the fans. He wants to see a change.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, for my money, and I know we could go back to the 2021 season-ending game against the Chargers as the biggest game in Allegiant Stadium history for the Raiders. And obviously the first one when fans came in, the Baltimore Ravens, that's going to always stand kind of unto itself. But as this game shapes up, this is, to me, the biggest game in Allegiant Stadium history with the Raiders. Maybe I'm not going to put it up there with the 2021 game, but it's pretty close, and for a lot of different reasons. One of which is what you just mentioned. This is an opportunity for Raider fans to show everybody, because there's going to be a national TV audience out there that are watching, how powerful Allegiant Stadium can be when it is full of Raider fans and making life difficult, for the opposing team. It's a great opportunity for the Raiders to go to 2-0, before heading out to Washington to play a great Commanders team, to send a message to the rest of the AFC West, that they belong in that conversation. It's a great opportunity to build off momentum. So for a lot of different reasons, this is a very big game and a great opportunity for the fan base and for the Raiders themselves to really send a message to everyone else in the league. And I fully expect, as the years go on and more winning occurs with the Raiders, you're not going to see as many, if any, of the types of games that we've seen, or Sundays that we've seen where the other team's fans took over. A lot of that was because, quite frankly, the team itself didn't give the fans
Ooh, that was a violent end to that with that Wi-Fi or whatever happened there. Yeah, that might have been the phone ghost. We haven't had the phone ghost. Maybe Q's on hold and he'll realize, because Q does a great interactive show, that was the phone ghost. Yeah, that was the phone ghost. We haven't seen him there. Vinny, you could wrap that up. Go ahead. We got your back.
Yeah, as I was saying, this is a great opportunity for the team, for the fan base, for Allegiant Stadium, to be what Mark Davis and everybody that was associated with this move to Las Vegas and building that stadium, to make it something that's really powerful, a place that teams don't want to come play. And it's a great opportunity for the Raiders to build off that momentum and kind of build that sort of legacy that you're looking for Allegiant Stadium in this fan base.
I know you got friends and fans coming into town. Tell us about your partners and what you're going to be doing leading up to Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicky and Pete's on Sunday starting at 6 o'clock over at the Sahara Hotel. We're having our night before Raider Rally hosted by Chicky and Pete's. Local Look at Tequila, obviously, is front and center with that as well. The Lending Store, all of our great partners. Looking forward to it. So if you're here for the weekend, if you're here on Sunday before Monday night's game, come check us out. Come visit with us. Great food, great football talk at 6 o'clock over at Chicky and Pete's at the Sahara.
Thank you so much, Vinny. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Yeah, go support Vinny, Clay, everybody who's out there. They're going to have a nice rally. Be a part of that. I'm going to be going to the fight. Thanks to Vinnie Bonsignore. Brought to you by Remy 1738 Sports Royalty. Take the crown with the game's smoothest pick. From September through February, we'll celebrate great performances with a Remy 1738. I love this. Remy gets it. They get what we do. They want to celebrate with Raider Nation, especially those victories, and get it going. He's Big Al in San Francisco, as the Raiders will want to know. What's happening, my friend?
Vinny got me all jazzed up. I just might jump on an airplane on Sunday night and come down there.
You should, man. It would be great to have you.
Yeah, I'd like to get down there. I do have a basketball commitment here Sunday afternoon, but I know you got me pretty jazzed. I'd like to come down to that game for many, many reasons, not just because Vinny got me jazzed. It is a validation game for the Raiders. They won their first game on the road in the conference, which is a big deal. Now let's win our first home game within the division. And when you look at the rest of the division, it's a very competitive division. But Kansas City and we all know how great they've been. I mean, they've won 8 or 9 division titles in a row. This is a big game for them coming up at home. And if the Raiders are able to win and go 2-0, and the Chiefs in their rematch against the Eagles, and they're just not as good as the Eagles. I think we saw that last year, and there's not that much difference this year. It's a very interesting start. I'd like to know the last time when the Raiders started off 2-0 and the Chiefs started off 0-2. It'd be a nice momentum push for the Raiders. But first and foremost, the Raiders. Let's make sure Bowers can get. Let's make sure Bowers is up, and the Raiders play their style of football, impose their will on the Chargers, and don't let other teams impose their will on them, as been so evident in the long pass as well as the short pass. I think it's going to be a great game. I'd love to come down. We'll see if I can figure that one out. But first and foremost, just play the brand of ball that Pete Carroll has built, and I think they'll be just fine.
Thanks, Big Al. Appreciate it. There is breaking news. I just got to mention it. A lot of people are watching and listening. Conservative talker Charlie Kirk is dead after being shot at a event in Utah there. So that's all over the news today. For people who are in their car coming home from lunch, you can see this. A very rough day today in this country with some violence that happened today. I don't normally mention that because it typically doesn't happen and come across my feed. Thanks to all the people that watched us today on YouTube. We greatly appreciate that and are listening. Q's coming up at the top of the hour. I'll come back one more and give you what we got planned for the rest of the week. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. I got the new podcast with Rod Woodson. Please go to the podcast with Rod. We're calling it Lay in the Wood. My son will put out the link. Appreciate it. God. And